What's up, Elevation Nation? It's been a busy week getting back into the thick of things after camp. We just actually hung out in New York City together, which is crazy. We were just together, Sam and myself, in Michigan at Lake of the Woods and Greenwoods for experience camps. And then we got to hang out again in New York City. It's like, Sam, you never want to leave me.
I don't. You're so special. I love you dearly. Great to see you so much this month. It was beautiful. Love that we're back in the swing of things, hitting another Fortitude in 15. Parker sent me a very cool graphic with an article. I don't know. I just looked at the graphic. Can't remember. Long week. That was talking about the future skills that are going to be most important for people to learn, master, work on, continue to grow. Parker, I thought it was a fascinating graphic because it aligns so much with what we talk about here at Elevation Nation. Give us the lowdown, man.
Yeah, so I came across this on Twitter, or X, and you always question, like, Parker,
You mean X the Everything app?
X the Everything app.
Thank you.
You always say, Parker, how do you come across this stuff? I don't know. It just pops up on my For You page or whatever. And basically, it's this 4-pronged quadrant. I guess a quadrant is 4. So it is a quadrant of the core skills for 2030. In the top left, it hits on emerging skills. These are less essential now, but expected to increase in use. Then in the bottom left is out of focus skills, less essential now and not expected to increase in use. The bottom right was steady skills, core now, but not expected to increase in use. And then the core skills in 2030 are the skills that are core now, but expected to increase in importance in the future. And when you look at this chart, and we'll include a link in the bio so that you can see, and maybe we'll just even post it on the Instagram as like, hey, like if you want to reference this, just go to our Instagram. A lot of the skills that we were told, Sam, were important skills going into college, going into job, life before AI, fall into that out of focus skills quadrant, the bottom left quadrant, which means, programming, marketing and media, teaching and mentoring, interesting, multilingualism, reading, writing, mathematics. Basically, this chart is putting those skills that we had thought were so important into this lower quadrant, saying that employees don't care about it as much, employers won't care about it now, and employers won't care about it as much in the future because AI is going to be doing it regardless. So right off the bat, what are you thinking? I want to obviously go to the top right quadrant, which is the future.
Yeah, we'll get there for sure. I want to bring this back because I'm sure so many people are thinking, like, of course all the futurists are going to say that. Like, everyone's freaking out over AI and computers and technology and new skills, and everyone's worried there's this new revolution happening. This happened before. This has happened many times before. This will happen again. The skills that humans need to survive evolve over time. Right? Parker, think back to, I'm going to throw way back, the time when we were hunters and gatherers. People didn't podcast. That was not a skill we had. But I can guarantee you my ancestors knew the difference between a poisonous and a non-poisonous berry. That was a skill they needed to live.
They probably talked about it too.
Of course. They learned it. It was passed down from generations to generations through storytelling, through learning, right? That was the first one. Then comes the agricultural revolution. I believe there was a statistic where like 78% of Americans at one time, like 150 years ago, were all in agriculture or some semblance of agriculture. Farming, food processing, whatever it may be. That's what you did. You woke up, you worked on the farm. I can tell you honestly, I do not know how to milk a cow. Parker, do you know how to milk a cow?
No, Sam, I don't know how to milk a cow.
Okay. I was just checking before I made an assumption. We don't have that skill anymore.
99% of the people you ask that question, you'd be like, dude, what? Obviously don't know how to milk a cow.
But 150 years ago, a much greater proportion of society didn't have that skill because they had a cow, and that's how they got their milk. Fast forward, we continue these revolutions over time. And of course, it seems like that was a long time ago. Well, that was back then. As technology continues to evolve, there's something called Moore's Law. Parker, I know you're very familiar. That essentially, every 18 months, the abilities of technology double. It's growing exponentially every 18 months. So it only makes sense that the new skills, these revolutions that we had, continue to have shorter time frames in between them. When did the internet get launched to the public? 2000? Before then?
I think a little bit earlier,
90s?
but I think there was mass adoption starting in the early 2000s.
In the 2000s, right?
People didn't 1990s, early 2000s.
Totally. How to properly use a search engine, right? How to make a website, how to write an email and communicate that way. All new skills that people develop to be productive in society, in work, in life, and in school. These revolutions of new skill sets will continue to happen. So people thinking that we're freaking out and just waving a flag, we're not. We're basing this on history. We're basing this on the technology that's evolving. We have new things that we got to learn, keep up with the times. Maybe one day milking a cow will come back around. We'll see.
And I just want to preface, too, is this graph is based on what employers are expecting as an increasing and important skill for the future. So all those skills that I said in the past, yes, they're important. They're still going to teach them in schools. But what this chart is saying is what are employers going to be valuing more? Because AI might not necessarily be the best option, but humans would be the best option for these skills. So let's go to that top quadrant, core skills. These are core now and expected to increase in importance for the world. So employers are going to be looking out for these skills. And I'll just read them all. The top highest one right now, AI and big data. Understanding AI and big data, how it works, technological literacy. What is the technology impacts of the future? What is going to be the technology that we're going to be using? Obviously, very important. Very technical, but having an understanding is going to be very expected, I think, of all of us. But then, Sam, there's so many things in here that we talk about all the time that are those people skills, not the technical skills. Creative thinking is the third highest one. Curiosity and lifelong learning. Resilience, flexibility, and agility. Leadership and social influence. Analytical thinking. And then we have talent management and motivation and self-awareness. Think about that for a second. Elevation Nation.
Those are pretty much all soft skills, right?
For the majority of those are people skills. Those are human skills. And AI will not be able to replicate the authenticity of a human being. Be able to think and have social influence and lead people. Have curiosity and lifelong learning, motivation, self-awareness. Analytical thinking. These are what employees are going to look for. Yes, they will look for how you solve problems using math or using science, but the AI is going to be the thing that's going to help us do that. What this graph is saying is that those human skills are becoming ever so much more important with the advent of AI. It's kind of interesting to think about. And that's why we're so excited, Sam, with where we're going in this next chapter of Elevation Nation, is providing the space for humans to develop and evolve those human skills through authenticity. Really cool graph.
Really cool. It's a really cool graph. We'll link to it in the show notes so that you guys can take a look. But super powerful stuff on, a prediction that Parker and I have kind of been hedging our bets on is people skills, those interpersonal, human connection, mindset, mental fortitude, authenticity skills are going to be the big ones that help you become successful as you continue your life. So I'm just so excited that is the reality right now of where we are headed, because I feel like, Parker, we learn, teach, and preach that stuff, and I don't know farming. So if it comes back around where farming is a top skill, we may have to pivot Elevation Nation. But right now, we are exactly where we need to be, where we want to be in teaching these skills to young people. So take a look. I actually am excited because I hope that schools start pivoting our curriculum a little bit, Parker, to, we always think we need to continue to keep up with some other countries globally, right? So coding was taught incessantly, right? All of a sudden, we heard that we were so behind in the computer skills. So we started to teach computers and coding and all these new things to young people. But I actually heard something really cool the other day. I was talking to some of our kids at experience camps, Parker. And they heard me speaking Spanish to one of our campers that also speaks Spanish. And they said, "No way, you learned Spanish when?" I said, "In high school, man, I had to take a language, right? That used to be a skill that people really wanted. multilingual now is in the bottom quadrant, Parker, I believe you said. They said, oh, that's cool. I'm actually taking American Sign Language. Interpersonal connection, making people feel seen, heard, valued, and so that they can be their most authentic self. Schools are changing, curriculums are changing, and I hope that they are keeping up with this fast pace that we are moving in technology right now. It's a crazy, scary, and very exciting time to be alive and to be an educator to young people, and I include us in that mix, Parker.
Yeah. I think sign language is something that JJ and I always talk about learning. I think it would be really cool to communicate with each other.
Incredible.
But I learned this from my stepbrother and Julian when he was first born, is like before babies can actually talk verbally, they actually have the ability to communicate with sign language what they need. And so I saw Colleen and Mike teach like Julian sign language, how to ask for food using his hands. And like that's him communicating.
I had no idea. That is so cool.
Insane. It's very, very cool. I had no idea that was a thing, but it is a thing. And my speech pathologist wife educated me on that. And so maybe you'll learn something every day, Elevation Nation. Sam is going to Alaska next week on a cruise. I will pay him $100 if he takes a video of himself milking a cow in Alaska, Elevation Nation. I'm just putting that out there. If we get a video of Sam milking a cow in Alaska, I will hand him $100 on the spot. So that's his challenge for next week. Do you think?
Let's see what I can do.
Done?
No, but I will try. I will do my best.
I
I
mean,
can
you're
guarantee
gonna
there's no
water on a
cows on board.
cruise.
Yeah, there's no cows on board. That's for sure.
I imagine
when I get
there's
off,
not many cows in Alaska too, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
probably not many cows, and probably even less cows that would let me milk them. So this is going to be a tough challenge, but I appreciate it. I love the article, Parker. Keep them coming. X the Everything app. Thank you. No free ads. Elevation Nation, we love you. Until next week. Peace.